Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of DarshanTalks. I have with me the amazing, the incredible Kate Woods and Elizabeth Litton. For those people who don't know Kate Woods, Kate and I have known each other for 20-something years, going to law school together. And that's why we're both really burnt out, and which is why we have the wellness portfolio lawyer with us. And I've known Elizabeth now for, I want to say, like 3 or 4 years at least. And Elizabeth and I have worked on some incredible projects, including wellness projects together. And she is the guru of all things privacy and sort of compliance. And she is the person to talk to when it comes to some of these topics. But before I get into this further, and before I introduce the topic, which is going to be on how do we all calm down and sort of get a moment to relax. I'm going to let both of them introduce themselves. But for those people, I'd like you, Kate, and you, Elizabeth, when you give your introductions, to talk about how you take a moment for yourselves as we sort of talk about this larger topic. So we'll go in alphabetical order. So E comes before K. So Elizabeth.
Thank you. So yes, Darshan, I wouldn't say I'm a guru, but I do a lot of work in the privacy and healthcare arena, regulatory compliance, so HIPAA and data privacy. But we're lawyers and we're notably stressed people, a stressful profession. I know other professions have stress as well, but I think that one thing I really like to do is I need to exercise. I need that for my brain. I need it for just to kind of reset. But I've recently enjoyed cold plunging, and I love taking saunas. So I've tried it. I'm not, a health expert in it, but I do notice the mental and physical benefits when I've just started to do it a little bit, and been talking to you guys about it. And Kate, I want to hear more about what you do to stay calm and relaxed and fun, and you never seem stressed out. So that's what I want to say with you, Darshan. Like, you're fun people to be with. But yeah, so I'll turn it over to you, Kate.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. I'm Kate Woods. I am a healthcare regulatory attorney with a particular passion. I think I invented a word last week when I was speaking to another woman about sauna. I said, I'm a passionista for saunas, right? And cold plunge. I really love it. And it's part of, like, I would say, my learning journey on how to remain calm and manage stress as a really busy, like, practicing attorney in a high-paced environment, raising children at the same time. So one key secret I would say to, like, remaining calm and having no stress is having grown children. Because I definitely have gotten less stressed as my children have become, like, functional, autonomous young adults. But
I'm gonna call you out on this. Just tell me what happened this weekend, Kate, that you talked about.
Well, right. That would be PHI. So Liz will say we can't breach that. But I did have an issue with one of my kids, but it's still all good. But all joking aside, I'm so excited about this conversation because, like Liz, I need some kind of physical activity to help me de-stress and, like, regulate myself. And I sadly am not a huge gym fan. I just could never get into that. I've tried, and I've found some really great ones. But what I really like to do is be outside, walking, hiking, swimming in the ocean, or even, like, gardening. If you're doing it aggressively enough, it actually can, like, I've done some gardening days where I've actually been sore, right? I'm talking like digging and moving rocks and things like that. But one thing that's really helped me through the years is when I found sauna, right? Like, now the Finns will say you didn't find it. It's been around for a long time. It's part of our culture. And they even brought it to America. Right. It's like thriving sauna culture in Minnesota and places like that. But here on the East Coast, not so much. I think we're starting to see it now. And the contrast therapy, to me, goes hand in hand with where I think we're going as a society, which we're starting to take more autonomy in our healthcare decisions. And when you start taking more self-directed approach to that, the decisions move backwards. So you're not waiting till you're in the hospital or 60 with diabetes and almost retired. You're saying, what can I do to maintain my health? It's all part of the longevity movement, this, that, and the other thing. And I think I'm so curious to your thoughts, because I think that's great. And I think ultimately when we take these proactive measures about daily healthcare practices, which is sauna, which is cold plunge, a lot of benefits. None of us are doctors of medicine, so we won't be giving medical advice, but certainly opinions and anecdotal evidence. You can extend your life and you can be healthier. At the same time, people are starting to take their medical advice from like Instagram stars or AI chatbots, which we can talk about, and that's dangerous too. So like, where's the balance, right? But Darshan, curious about your thoughts around all of this.
So I feel, for me, I feel like this whole wellness thing is a new thing that gets new every time I look at it. So it feels like cold plunging is the latest thing, but there was yoga not that long before that, and then there was Zumba, and then there was like every variant thereof. But I feel like unlike the others, which focused on weight loss, which is where the attention was, drugs like Ozempic took off that focus on weight loss and said, let's go to the core of the problem, which is, in the end, you need to stop being sedentary. You need to start moving. You need to start paying more attention to your body. And that resulted, I guess, in other modalities having more focus. So I'm thinking about the cold plunge, which quite honestly for me sounds terrifying. Like the idea of willingly dipping yourself into cold water does not sound like something I want to do as a voluntary thing. I'm pretty sure Nazi prison experiments involved that. So
you know what? I first did it, my first experience. So I grew up in the Midwest, Ohio, Northern Ohio. So I've been saunaing my whole life. I've loved it. And I was always part of, if we went to the pool and swam, we'd sauna. And I've always really loved sweating in the sauna. The cold plunge, I agree with you. It wasn't until recently that it started with a Thanksgiving trip to a lake house with family members, where some of the younger guys were like, we're going to do a nice jump in the lake and do a cold plunge in the lake. And all the women were like, I'm not doing it. So it was like, just as because, I can't stand to have like a guy say I can't do something. So I was like, I will do it. And my grown daughter's like, Mom, are you nuts? I'm like, no, I'm going to definitely do it. So a group of us did it. And what I noticed, as a rookie, so I ran from the cold lake to the hot tub and immediately got like a ice headache. So that was stupid. But I noticed a couple hours later, I felt really, really calm. I felt like this, I don't know, serotonin kind of calmness, like what I used to get after I would run. Like
I think
that
that's
kind
PTSD, Elizabeth.
of calm. And so then I was like, all right, maybe there's something to it. And then I love being outside too, Kate, but just out of necessity, because I like to swim and I can't get to an outdoor location. So I like to swim at my gym, but they opened a cold plunge. And so I started after my swim, kind of regulating my temperature, and then going in at first, like, a second or two and jumping out and being like, this is awful. But then like slowly I built up to it. And I noticed, and a friend did a little class on it, and she said, you can breathe, you can hum at the back of your, like, you go, and that calms you down. And then I noticed after a minute, like if I left my arms up, and after a minute, my legs felt comfortable. And then and so what's so interesting, so now I'm up to like, woohoo, like 3 minutes, and then I go all the way under, and then I get out and I feel great. But what I've noticed about it is that I'm doing it, I add it a little bit at a time. But it's so the mind-body connection is so fascinating to me. It's fascinating that your body can adapt, and that adaptation, then it feels wonderful. I feel like that's it, and it kind of gets you out of your regular thinking head. so as lawyers and with the stress, I think that's one of the reasons I used to like running distance. My knee won't let me do that anymore. So, I gotta shift over. So I now like to swim, and, it gets me out of my regular stress. It gets you into the rhythm of your breath, and it gets kind of changes that mind body awareness. So you're more focused on your body and not your thoughts scattering everywhere.
Right.
And
it makes the thoughts stop, right? In a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
And so what do you do, Kate, when you have the opportunity to cold plunge? What's your method?
Madness. Yeah. So I always like to say one of my methods too is like bringing new people all of the time and getting them into it. I just did that earlier this week. But I too, I'm a heat girl. I could sit in a sauna much longer than the average person, I believe, and I love it. And cold plunge and its benefits, like immediate stress reduction with that contrast therapy, you're taking your body temperature up, you're dropping it down. It helps with sleep. I sleep so well on my sauna and cold plunge days. Cold plunge for me was hard initially because I'm usually cold, so I'm looking for warmth. And like you, I inched into it. Now I have a daughter. She's young. She's in her 20s. She's an elite athlete. She'll do a full ice bath, like with ice cubes for 3 minutes. I'm not in competition. That is not what I'm trying to do. So, which I always say to people, like, don't look at the person next to you. What feels right for your body? And so I inched into it as well. And for me, a big key is what's the temperature of the cold plunge? Any benefit of the cold heat contrast, it's going to be good for you. If your friend can handle like 36 degrees or 40 degrees or even 50 degrees, and you can handle 65 or 70, do that. But I actually started, Liz, when I could not immerse in an actual cold plunge, sauna, cold shower, and built that up. And then I stick to around 65, 70 degrees for a cold plunge. Some people would say that is warm. It's not if you get into it, but it's certainly not like a 42 degree, and it's not an ice bath. But I feel the same effects. It does what it's supposed to do. And it provides that mental clarity, the sleep on its own. I can't stress enough. Definitely a cortisol reduction, like that inflammation, constantly working on my inflammation all the time. And I find that sauna cold really helps me. To me, a 7-day practice would be heaven. Not currently possible, but I do aim for a couple times a week whenever I can find the time and sauna. And the other piece of it, I will do a sauna alone anytime and a cold plunge. But to me, one of the key benefits of the practice is it's a community event. And so I love to go, and you've spoken about that, Liz, how you and your girlfriends have turned it into like your new Friday night, right? We're not out drinking too much wine or whatever. It's, hey, let's go to the sauna and the cold plunge, which is a social. So you're getting all of the health benefits of a connection with another human being as well. And that's what I love about the sauna culture too. I don't know about the two of you, but I speak to strangers quite easily in the sauna. Right?
Me too. And the cold plunge. I mean, part of the cold plunge at my gym, what I like is it's near the pool, it's co-ed, it's next to the hot tub. So you could do the contrast is very easy. But part of the cold plunge, you have people who are very experienced and have been, have their method in doing it. And then the people who dip in and out. But you talk to each other about it, and it becomes, it does become a social event. It's a chance to just randomly connect with people, which is also very healthy.
And we're missing it, post 2020 with the phone culture, all of the things that are working against us for social connection. I think this type of practice really is an obstacle to total disenfranchisement, right? Because you're talking to your friends. I just went the other day to a place in North Jersey. It's a fairly large bathhouse, and brought a friend who have never done sauna or cold plunge before. So we had a great time. but also chatting with the women I'm sitting next to, talking to the guy who's out of town on work and stopped in for a day pass, and you meet interest, and it's all walks of life.
Yeah.
I mean, bathhouse, multiple different languages being spoken, right? And you're like, oh yeah, it's Russians who are coming. This is part of their culture. A lot of Koreans, of course, like everybody of every type. There's a place for everyone in this like health practice, in a way that like, not everyone can be an Iron Man. I can't, right? And but the benefits of sauna too. Again, I'm not a clinician, but what I've been reading about it, and I have done a lot of research on it, is like a sauna practice has as many cardiovascular benefits if you practice it regularly as, a cardio exercise. And I think you should do both. Both is great, but it's not just a leisure activity, which to me is the key. There are real physical effects. It's great too. I do. I'm in the.
I feel like it's good for my skin.
In the dermatology world, right? I work with dermatologists on the legal end, and it's great for stimulating collagen and cleaning out impurities. I mean, you look fantastic and you feel fantastic when it's done.
So I have a few different thoughts. So the first one, I find it, and this might be just the fact that we know each other, but we're all healthcare lawyers talking about taking care of ourselves better. Are healthcare lawyers more susceptible to the stress than others, or is this just a more specific demographic, and that's just how it played out? That'd be my first thought. The second thought I was thinking about was I feel like there's been this push into longevity medicine. I think saunas, and I think I think I could enjoy a sauna a lot. I've enjoyed saunas. In fact, my big problem with saunas is they aren't hot enough, because I love it. On the other hand, the cold plunge still terrifies me. Then
we're going to get you to try one. We're going to get you in one,
yes.
Darshan. We'll get you
one
to try
day.
it. Yeah.
One day. And then there's the one that's after me. I was talking to my girlfriend Joy recently, and she told me something that I think is hilarious, and I'm curious if both of you see this or not. She told me that she actively has a voice in her head that talks. And I have never had that. And from what I gather, men tend to not have that voice and women tend to have that voice. I have no idea if it's true or not, but that's purely just the reading online. And what you both emphasized on was your thoughts stop. You just get some peace. Is there that element that comes into play, that nagging voice all the time in your head that's constantly interfering with everything you want to do? Does that get a momentary breather just it's because it's frozen right now? And is that helpful? So I'm curious how you guys see those various thoughts intersecting, if at all.
Yeah. Liz, would you like to?
No, go ahead. You go first. Go ahead.
I would say, to your healthcare lawyer question, I think healthcare law, as you know, is a high stress environment. I would say any lawyer, any practicing lawyer, is in a high stress environment, as are other professionals and everyone, frankly. But since we're all lawyers and, speaking to lawyers, our job is to identify problems, right? I mean, so think about that. I'm a very positive person. I think I have a nice, fun outlook on life, generally speaking. And yet in discussions every day, someone's like, we can go do this. And I'm like, sure. But here's the 10 laws that we have to think about. Oh, Kate, but you're reviewing a contract, right? Well, okay, it's fine, sign it. Well, if we sign it, this indemnity clause is really a problem if we run into A, B, and C. Oh, that will never happen. Okay, but if it does, I'm responsible for it. So we're always looking at problems, even if we're generally.
And we get paid to identify or fix problems.
Exactly.
And, so yeah, we're in this problematic world, and that's what we do, and that's what we think about as problems. Yeah.
And it builds the stress. So how do you relieve the stress? And unfortunately, I think we've all seen the data with lawyers historically. Unfortunately, we're a high self-medicating group, either through drugs or alcohol, right? And you're always seeing some, license action against somebody who's just gone down a wrong path. And to me,
Kate, I have a question for you related to what you just said, where you said lawyers tended to self-medicate using alcohol.
Yeah.
There's some study out there that says that the number of people drinking alcohol is decreasing.
Yeah.
But we still need to create that social connection. You guys both just talked about that social connection. So is this the new alcohol? A place to unwind yourself, the new bar, if you will, the place to unwind yourself in a healthier way, and while still having that community. I mean, if you think of Norm from Cheers, and now I'm visualizing Norm in a sauna with a towel around his.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
You don't need to go there, but yeah.
That's not how it works. I have no idea what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah. But no, I think that's spot on, Darshan. I consider it like the third place, right? The concept of home, work, and your third place. And I love that things like this are turning into our third place. And I really, frankly, am a big cheerleader and booster for pushing it further. I do think I've read the same things and seen it anecdotally. People are drinking less, which I think is great. Cocktail every once in a while, great. But the numbers really upticked during COVID when we were all at home. And now we have to figure out other ways to alleviate that are healthier. It's super healthy. And I'm just going to go back to one thing and then get Liz's thoughts on saying, like, a big part of the health component is you're connecting with other humans. It's huge. It's huge. We've been so isolated. So
and
many
I see studies, like you see studies with the elderly population, like the people who do better are the ones who connect with each other. I think that applies across the board. I've noticed in my office at Fox, so by the way, we've done a couple of, we had just last week a speaker come in and talk about everything Kate is saying in the legal profession and ways to improve how you deal with stress and not turn to substances or addictive behaviors. But I've noticed that younger associates at the firm seem to come into the office more just recently. I've noticed it, and talk to each other in person. And I do think that's human nature. And I think it's healthy to crave socialization and the company of people it's great to see you guys on the screen, but it's wonderful to see you when we get together and we can meet three-dimensionally and sit down and have a bite to eat or do something sociable. So I do think that there's that need for social connection, and having a way to do it in having an alternative to the bar, I think, is an excellent option, like to turn to these healthy behaviors and to join together with the experience of the cold plunge. And with respect to the voice in the back of your head, definitely when I get into, I think at my gym, I think it's 47 degrees, that chatter stops. I'm just trying to calm my breathing. I am not thinking about my to-do list for the day. I'm thinking about calming my body. I'm feeling the sensations of the cold, and I'm recognizing the cold, but I'm saying, okay, I'm going to survive this. Like, my heart feels fine. You pay attention to how you feel. And I think that's really important too, because you hear people maybe not experienced with it. It's not a good idea to just throw yourself into the deep end of a cold pool. That would probably not go well for most people that are not acclimated. But you want to acclimate. You want to pay attention to your body. And that close attention is what I think is part of the calming of the brain. Like, you're breathing and you're paying attention. And being in a sauna, when you start sweating and you're thinking about how your body feels, I think that's similar. But for me, the cold plunging has been such an interesting transition. So we are going to get you in, Darshan. I'm doing it.
Yes, we are going to. I have the place too. We can all go up to. It's in North Jersey, because again, there's some limitations in our area. But to my point, Darshan, there are different temperatures of pools. So you don't have to.
I need the one that's
147 degrees. Yeah.
Right? You're not winning anything. The only thing you're winning is camaraderie and good health. And I agree with Liz. The practice and the contrast, because you're in it, you're rooting yourself in the physical world. And so the voice in your head, the chatter, stops for a moment. Pick up the dry cleaning. This is a problem with one of the kids. I've got this bill to pay. There's these 4 regulatory matters I have to deal with. And just, oh my God, the world's going to end because I didn't type up memo X, right? And it just goes on and on. But because you're like almost shocked into the physical world and feeling the physicality, the noise stops. And I think that concept of stopping the chatter, like calming the mind through your body, is like older than all three of us combined on this call. I think I'm pretty sure like the Stoics even talked about it. Like if you want to calm your mental disorder, work on the body first, right? So
I have a question though, Kate, and I say this as someone who has obviously not done or is not steeped in the culture that you and Elizabeth are in terms of saunas and the like. You spoke a little bit about this northern New Jersey place where you spoke to people from all walks of life. You spoke about it being co-ed, and then I talked about Norm and sort of shirtless and the towel around his shoulder. And your response was, no, not that. So how do you make it less intimidating? Like, look, you guys are fit. I am not. I am not fit at all. And I'm going, I don't want to take off my shirt in front of.
No. That's the culture's not like that at all. Again, this, and there are other places. So I don't want to say only one place is Shangri-La. But at every single place you go to, whether they're large or small or whatever, you see every type of body. And I can tell you, my most recent trip, I saw one person who could objectively be considered, eligible for a magazine page. One, and she was a young, beautiful young woman. The rest of us
just normal
people. Gone through life, too thin, too skinny, too heavy, too this, the hair, pink hair, blue hair, yellow hair, gray hair. And
I've noticed all ages too.
All ages.
The other day when I was in my little cold plunge, a couple that does it quite a bit was there. And the man, a larger man, not young, but not old, like middle age-ish, was in for a while. And then he dove under and he was holding on to the pole to keep himself under. And he was under for a while, to the point where my teenage lifeguard skills, I was like having a memory, like, when do I pull him up?
Right.
And I looked over to his companion, a woman who was outside the pool, and I was like, is he okay? And she said, oh, he does that. And then he got up and he smiled and he was beaming. And he said, I do it for my, my skin under my eyes. And he was like, yeah, I feel great. But he held himself under the water for like a minute. Like, oh, that I've never seen. But you see all shapes and types and ages of people with different levels of comfort doing different things. Like some people can sit in the hot tub for 45 minutes. I can't do that. I think I would boil away. So I have, I don't have that heat tolerance for that. But, you see all different people. And the thing is, I think, you're paying attention to what feels right for your body.
Absolutely. I think that's
like the thing about Norm is more that I not so much if Norm walked into the cold plunge, the sauna or whatever, that would be fine too. It's just that, I have an image of him just sitting at the bar, and that's kind of like
the beer, right?
Keep him there.
Like
I need
Norm
to
at the bar,
right?
Yeah. Norm.
Yeah.
I think we all want to be Norm somewhere,
Yeah. Where everyone knows the name. I think that's the whole point. I do have a question though, because we try to keep these tight. We're almost at the 30-minute mark. So my big question for you, what is the one takeaway you would tell someone who's going, I like the idea of this, but what should I know before I walk in, before I enter this culture? Kate, you first.
Yeah, I think the takeaway is there's really nothing to be intimidated by. It's a very welcoming culture and practice. It's great for your health. Doing it at all has health benefits. Doing it even once a week can change, literally change your life in many ways from my experience. And don't let preconceived ideas or excessive self-awareness stop you from enjoying the practice. And it's easy. After about 10 seconds, Darshan, you forget that you're not wearing your lawyer suit, and everyone's cool. And it's just a great conversation. And meanwhile, you are literally practicing good health that has short-term and long-term benefits. And I think ultimately it's far more cost effective than waiting and delaying. Now, it's not the only way to take care of your health. It's one piece of it, but we spend so much money on drugs and supplements and all kinds of like retroactive healthcare. To me, sauna and cold plunge and just taking care of your body and your mind, it's like a physical and mental practice, has such long-term consequences and benefits. It's like you're putting a coin in the bank every time you do it, and it pays massive dividends on the back end.
I love that.
Yeah, and I would say, consider reaching out to a friend or somebody who will encourage you. Sometimes it's easy, like they say that if you're starting a new exercise, go with a friend who enjoys it. Consider inviting someone to go with you, whether they've done it before or not. Sometimes that's a helpful thing, and then compare your experiences and be curious as to what is going to feel right for your body and discover it. I mean, I think that's part of the fun of it, is just noticing, no two people are alike, but we can do things that produce noticeable positive benefits. Just pay attention to what that is and what might work for you, and might be pleasantly surprised that this is a fun and inexpensive, in most cases, you can come up with ways to do this that are not going to cost you a lot. And certainly compared with some of the healthcare, options that are out there, maybe this is, an ounce of prevention worth a pound of cure type thing. But also, if you can come up with a way to do these practices that's accessible and inexpensive and on a fun, regular basis, I think there are many benefits to it.
Well said.
For those people who have been following along, I have Elizabeth's QR code on the top left-hand corner. So if you're looking for a well-rested, smart privacy lawyer, you can find her right. You just go to this, take your phone and go to the QR code on the left. Similarly, if you want to talk to the wellness portfolio lawyer, Kate Woods, that's the QR code on the top left-hand corner as well. And thank you both for coming on. This was incredible. Maybe what we need to do is talk about a different modality each time when we do one of these. And
Sure.
we'll talk today about saunas and cold plunges. And if people want to guess and tell us what's another modality they've experienced that they want to talk about, we'll get into that. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you.
Darshan. Bye, Liz.